love, you're listening to the Died on Ashanta podcast. I'm a resilience strategist and migrant integration specialist who has spent the last 20 years traveling, working, and studying throughout the Caribbean, North America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. As a globetrotter, I quickly learned how to bounce back from crisis and how to thrive in new and strange places. I've used my training and experience to develop a resilience-based framework, and now I help others to get over the hurdles that come with living in a foreign country. Now on this podcast, I invite you to join me on this journey of living with simplicity, joy, and resiliency. From green smoothies to goal setting, we'll cover it all. We'll talk about all the things that help us to thrive through the storm. Welcome to the Died on Ashanta podcast. This is episode 22, and we are talking about automatic thoughts. You're probably wondering, what exactly is an automatic thought? Well, I want to bring up the concept of core beliefs. And another way I like to think about core beliefs would be like a central operating system for your self-worth. These are the kind of absolute truths that we have rooted in our early childhood experiences, the teachings we got during those, maybe from infancy to early childhood, and even the advice we were given in the earlier part of our life. These are the things which shape the way we viewed ourselves and the way we viewed the rest of the world. And what a lot of people don't recognize is that our core beliefs are actually stronger than some of the surface thoughts, or what we might want to call acceptable beliefs that society tells us we should have. So at the front of your mind, you have the acceptable kind of surface thought. Everyone says, let's say you're really smart, but in your heart of hearts, you don't think you're really smart. You probably think everyone else is smarter than you, and you think maybe everyone suspects that you're not really smart, but they're just saying it to not let you feel bad, that sort of thing. And these are the kinds of thoughts that become automatic, and it's our core beliefs, those beliefs that we held on to in early childhood, that create these automatic thoughts. These thoughts are designed to protect us, to keep us safe whenever we encounter any potential threats or challenges. And the potential threats or challenges don't need to be something that's going to physically harm you. It can simply be something that may cause you embarrassment, or a scenario that could allow people to treat you in a way that you feel is either unkind or disrespectful. This is when your mind begins to check with your core beliefs and say, what's the automatic response that I need to have to this scenario? And if your automatic thoughts, your core beliefs are rooted in your flaws, your past failures, or even some fears you have about life and what could or couldn't happen to you, then you're prone to doing things that, for example, you have a belief that you must never ask for help, or you must always say yes to a person in authority, or always agree with your superiors, or you feel like nothing you submit or produce or be a part of must be anything less than perfect, or you think that you must always over deliver, because if you don't, then you are going to fall short in the eyes of someone who you value. Or so another core belief someone may have is that they must never admit any kind of ignorance, so they'd prefer to argue that they are right, or that they know something even when they don't. Those are some of the kind of negative core beliefs that show up in our lives and prevent us from being our best selves, from excelling in the ways we should, and in building the kind of connections that we really need to thrive and to overcome and be resilient. And at the very foundation of core beliefs is self-worth, and your core beliefs will determine whether or not you think you are worthy, whether you feel you are competent, whether you feel you are lovable, if you feel safe, whether it is in a location or interacting with a particular person, and whether or not you are powerful or influential. It all comes down to your sense of self-worth. And when it is that you have these repeated thoughts that either tell you that you are not worthy, or you're not competent, or you're unlovable, or unsafe, or weak, then those repeated thoughts start to search for supporting evidence. So if, for example, you think that you are not, let's say you're not competent, that's the core belief, maybe because early in childhood someone got very upset at you and told you that you always mess up a particular thing. It probably wasn't true, but they reacted out of anger, and you held on to that thought and formed a core belief that you are incompetent. Then you probably tell yourself repeatedly you must never ask for help, because if you admit that you need help or that you're not sure how something works, then everyone will think you're incompetent. And so you put yourself under duress in uncomfortable situations. You take on stress that is unnecessary because of that core belief. And so instead of allowing your mind to have these recurring thoughts of you not being competent and looking for the evidence to say, oh yes, I remember when I messed up this, or I tried this and it didn't work, or I failed that test, or I wasted money on this particular thing, and all these different areas of your life where you felt that you failed or you showed up as flawed, then that is what's going to define how you view yourself and how you show up in the world. So if it is you are able to identify some of these core beliefs, and there are processes that you can go through, sometimes even you can find a quiz online to help you identify what are your core beliefs, or some of them will call it your limiting beliefs, and you find out what is at the root of this central operating system for your self-worth. Then you can try to rebuild the core beliefs that you have by creating new thought patterns and seeking new evidence to support these healthier, positive, resilience building thoughts. So you probably wonder, how do I change my core beliefs if these things go all the way back to early childhood? Well, some of the things that you can do to rewire your brain and create new automatic thoughts is by starting with a simple thing as affirmations, whether these are recordings that you find online that you can play repeatedly, maybe once a day or multiple times a day. Let us say you pick one that says I'm worthy, and it goes through, let's say, a 30-minute loop of repeating different affirming statements that support the idea that you are worthy. Then you would listen to those affirmations, or you write them out. If you think back to when you're in school and you got lines to write, then this is a good version of lines to write, where you sit down and you write affirming words that speak to the positive core beliefs that you want to build. Another way is to build what I call a compliments bank, and this is something I recommend to people, where every time someone pays you a compliment, you write it down somewhere, you take a screenshot of the message, or you download the email. You keep a collection. You are banking up all the compliments you have, and these compliments are going to help to shift your brain about how you view yourself, because when you start to see a trend where everyone makes a particular comment about you, whether they say it to your face, or they write it down, or they tell someone else about you, then you start to see, well, if all these persons are saying the same exact thing about me, then maybe it is true. And so you build your compliments bank. Another easy way to help to rewire your core beliefs is to have a record of your daily wins. So you start the day and you think, okay, I need to get this, that, and the other done, or you encounter certain challenges. And at the end of the day, you have a time of reflection where you either go back over your to-do list and you say, what did I accomplish today? What did I get over? Or you may think, okay, I tried to do X, Y, Z. What were some of the hurdles that I encountered? What were challenges that I faced? And you start to identify, well, this is what I did to overcome it, and I got through this, or I failed in this area and I tried a different approach and it worked. So you make a record of these wins. If you can get together with friends who will support you and you support them in sharing your wins, whether it's for the day or for the week, to say, well, today I'm really proud of doing XYZ, or I'm proud that I didn't do XYZ. Or you said, you remember, I always wanted to acquire this or to be able to do this, then I was able to do it. And as you do this, what you're creating is you're building up your supporting evidence. These are the points that you will inject into your mind to say, yes, here is my proof that these beliefs are valid. I have proof that I am worthy, that I am competent, that I am lovable, that I am safe, that I am powerful. So I would want to encourage you to make these intentional efforts to change those core beliefs that you have that are not working in your favor, and to recreate the automatic thoughts that are driving you through your day, because this is the only way you are going to support and enhance your mental resilience. This is why there's a Malian proverb that says, a man is what he thinks. So if you can have a bigger influence on the automatic thoughts that you have from day to day, then you can build your mental resilience. And one excellent book that I would recommend, if you see my copy, it has like dog ears. It looks really tattered. I have all these notes and writings and underlines that I've done in it. I've lent it out to others and gotten it back. That's mostly why it's dog-eared, because of the people I've lent it to. But it's a book by Brené Brown. It's titled The Gifts of Imperfection. Let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you are. Your guide to a wholehearted life. And this particular book, if you grab a copy of it, I'd want you to focus in on the chapter where she talks about belonging and being enough, and how you can cultivate that, because that's all tied into your core beliefs and you accepting yourself, imperfections and all, and recognizing that your imperfections do not take away from your worthiness, your competence, your lovability, your safety, and your power. So that's it for today. I hope you will make some changes in the core beliefs that you are building and feeding into, and that you can have brand new automatic thoughts that fuel you. So that's it for this week's message. I love to hear your feedback as usual. Have a great week. Thanks so much for listening, love. If you enjoyed this episode, head over to diedandashanta.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's message. Be sure to drop your email address so I can send you some helpful resources, updates, and the occasional music video that I may have on repeat. Make sure you subscribe and spread the love with someone you care about.